Hey there, folks. For those of you who are just joining in, thank you for joining me on this belated birthday stream. It was my birthday yesterday, and I wanted to do a stream last night for my birthday, but it just didn't work out. So I decided to do one tonight. Um, so feel free to ask some questions, hang out. I activated the super chat and super stickers function. So that's all active now. I don't know why that wasn't active before. I guess I had to do it separately. So until I get some questions coming in, I will just talk about some random stuff. 21st. I wish it was 21st. I am not 21. I'm not 21, Bobby. I'm 33, but I'm young at heart. Um, and no, folks. I know DJ's asking, is Matt coming on? No, he's not. I asked him, but he's really busy. He's swamped with requests. So I'm gonna try to go solo. See how that goes. I haven't done a solo stream in ages. Um, I'm just gonna start talking about some random stuff. For instance, some recent trailers that I saw. Weird, the Al Yankovic story. Um, it's the new Weird Al biopic starring Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al Yankovic. This is a film that to me has potential. I think it could be a funny satire of biopics because it does seem like it's trying to be something like that. I know it's inspired by the Funny or Die skit that went viral, and I just don't know about it. I mean, Daniel Radcliffe, he's a good actor, but I don't know if he's the right guy to play Weird Al. And I just don't know. I didn't find the trailer to be that funny either. It looked kind of cheap, like it was a YouTube video or something like that. I'll give it a shot sometime because it's interesting. It seems like it might be an intriguing film, but I don't have a whole lot of hope for it. Uh, Weird Al though is a guy that I'm a big fan of. I really like Weird Al's music. Always been a fan of his, like the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota, Albuquerque. Um, really like his song "You Don't Love Me Anymore." I think that's pretty funny. And his last album he did was pretty fun. So also at the same time, we already have a Weird Al movie. It's called UHF. So I'll just stick with that. Um, Yeah, I heard he was really good in Guns Akimbo. I still haven't seen Guns Akimbo. I have it on Blu-ray, but I haven't checked the film out yet. So, first question we have here from Drew is the most watchable Leprechaun movie. Is there a most watchable Leprechaun film? If you ask me, they all suck. So, I guess maybe Leprechaun 4 in space because of the space element. Had some decent gore, some decent practical effects. I guess that would be the most watchable one, at least for me. Another question for Bobby. Thoughts on the wrestler named Shad Gaspard? Never heard of Shad Gaspard. I can't really say much. I can't say anything. Never heard of the guy. Not familiar with him. Here is something from Predimate. Sorry, I don't know why I keep screwing up your username. Give you in a mumble mouth. Predminator. Thank you for the birthday wish. It says he recently watched Predator 1 in 4K. His sister was nice enough to buy him a PS5. Surprised to see a lot of grain. Picture looked great. Yeah, it's a really good transfer by Fox. It's the best the film has ever looked. Definitely not the DNR mess that the Ultimate Hunter edition was. It's from Casey Morgan. Who are your favorite wrestlers growing up? Sting. Sting is still my favorite wrestler. I love Sting. Um, One of my first wrestling memories is Sting dropping down from the rafters on Nitro. It's a really cool image, and I've just been a fan of Sting ever since. I also really like Goldberg. I liked his power. He had the best spear in the business. Um, Also big Undertaker fan, and I liked Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho. I admit I was a Cena mark for a certain point of time. I do admit that. It's something that I definitely was. I was a big fan of Cena. I popped like crazy when he came back at the Royal Rumble that one year. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of wrestlers that I like, and there's some that I started getting into later on. I know when I started watching TNA, I was a big fan of AJ Styles and Samoa Joe and Abyss. Um, and no, Alter Ego, you're not late. I just started the stream basically. Um, this is from True Fire Pink Guy. Thoughts on The Green Mile? That's another film, surprisingly, that I haven't seen yet. I've heard of it. I've seen the trailer. I know it's a well-regarded movie. I just haven't checked the film out. Um, wouldn't mind checking it out sometime. I know it's pretty long though. So from Johnny, how old were you when you first appeared on YouTube? Oof. Uh, I think I first appeared on YouTube when I was out of high school. Like I just graduated, so I was probably like 18 or 19 or something like that. Um, I remember recording a video with an old VHS camcorder, and I did a review of like The Fly 2. That's what I remember doing. So from Scythemore, what state are you in? Washington State. I live in Vancouver, Washington. I've had some people get confused and say like Vancouver, Canada, because I remember when I first told people I was living in Vancouver, they were like, "Oh, Canada, eh?" I'm like, "No, I." Or making Wolverine jokes, like, "No, I don't live in Canada. It's Vancouver, Washington." It might as well be a suburb of Portland, Oregon, because it's just a few miles away. Just go over the bridge and you're in Portland already. This is from Michael. Kong Skull Island or Godzilla versus Kong? Kong Skull Island. I saw Kong Skull Island in the theater and I thought it was a blast. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great film. And Godzilla versus Kong, I don't mind as a fun blockbuster, but I definitely preferred Kong Skull Island. So this is from KPG. Have you seen or heard of the wrestler MGF? Yeah, I've heard of him. I think I saw a couple matches. I think I saw one of his matches in one of the recent pay-per-views for come on, I know the name of the wrestling brand. It's just not popping in my head for some dumb reason, making me look like a dumbass. Uh God damn it. I have one of the pay-per-views too. I don't know why my brain is not working. It'll come to me later. I apologize. I just got back from Outback Steakhouse, so maybe I still have steak brain. It was delicious too. It was amazing. Filet mignon, coconut shrimp, garlic mashed potatoes. Oh, one of the best dishes and dinners that I've had in quite a long time. It's funny because I know the name AEW. There it is. There it is. Now it popped in there. But yeah, I've seen a couple matches with MJF, and I like his attitude. He's a great heel. Um, he's a decent wrestler too. This is also from Michael. Have I seen any of the recent MCU films? And do you have any thoughts on those? No, I haven't seen them yet. I have pretty much the majority of those in 4K, and I would like to watch them and share my thoughts on them leading up to um, one of the more recent Marvel movies. Probably not going to be Doctor Strange 2 because I don't have enough time to do a bunch of MCU movies before that point. But I do have all of them, so I do have the ability to check them out. Yeah, Predminator. I was also a big fan of Kane too. Um, really like Kane. This is from Bobby. He says Braun Strowman and Undertaker are his favorite. Okay, that's cool. Definitely like the Undertaker. Braun, I was all right with. I wasn't really a super big fan of his. This is from Night of Snoke. While I understand the need for original works, are there any movies, TV shows you would want a prequel, sequel, remake, or spin-off that has never happened? I have talked about this before. I would like to see a remake of The Wraith. I think The Wraith is an okay film, but I think it has a lot more potential to be a much better movie. And I've always thought it would be cool to see Nicholas Winding Refn, who did Drive, do a remake of The Wraith, or maybe the guy who was behind VFW or something. It's one of those things where I think The Wraith is something that really could be a good remake. Have a good, nice mid-tier budget, amp up the violence and throw in some gore. I think you got something legitimately special there. And it's a cool enough idea. It is a cool title, and you got like a cool car. Like there's enough there that you could spark a lot of interest by new audiences. And it's obscure enough that a lot of people might not even really know of the original Wraith. It's not like there's a lot of diehard Wraith fans out there who are like dead set against a remake. Um, this is from Kim. He says chocolate or vanilla. It depends on what I'm in the mood for. Sometimes I like a nice, simple bowl of vanilla ice cream. But most of the time, though, I'm more of a chocolate guy. Definitely. Um, this is from Total Meltdown 2. Which Mortal Kombat games have you played? Not very many. Really, my memories of Mortal Kombat come down to playing the arcade version of the first game because it was at a bowling alley where my parents would bowl. And I wasn't really into bowling, so I would just play Mortal Kombat or I would play the pinball machines that were there. I know one of the pinball machines that was at the bowling alley was Bram Stoker's Dracula, and the one of the arcade games was Mortal Kombat. And I used to play that a lot. I actually got really good at it, and I was really quite adept with Scorpion, but I've forgotten a lot of my memories or a lot of my knowledge, a lot of my skills. Like I definitely would suck now if I tried to play that arcade uh, version of Mortal Kombat now. But it's one of those things where I've been curious. Like I would love to try to play the latest one mainly because it has RoboCop in it, but I just don't have the updated system to be able to do it. I'm considering maybe buying like an Xbox One or something like that during Black Friday um, this year, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it could be a PS5. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I'm curious about checking out, and that includes more modern Mortal Kombat games. This is from Drew. Have you seen any Neil Breen films? No. I've seen reviews. Those films look absolutely bonkers, and they look like they would be really hard films to sit through. So, no, I haven't seen any of them. This is from Alter Ego. Thoughts on the Minecraft movie? Don't have much to say because I've never played Minecraft. I don't know if that would really make for uh, a very good film based on my knowledge. I guess maybe it could be fun. Maybe it could be like the Lego movie where you could have some meta stuff and so on. I just don't know about it. I just don't know about the Minecraft. I don't really have a lot of investment in Minecraft, but I know it's a pretty popular thing. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the super chat, JT Grogan. Thank you. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it. Um, this is from Michael Monet. Says, ever gone to Subway? They make the best submarine sandwiches. I have gone to Subway. I don't mind them. I would say I prefer Jersey Mike's. To me, that's the place that makes the best subs, at least around here. I also like Big Town Hero, and don't mind Jimmy John's. Subway though, I used to get Subway a lot. I used to get Subway at every lunch break when I was working at a movie theater in Oklahoma City, and I used to get Subway a lot then. I used to get like the chicken bacon ranch. Um, Alter Ego mentions the Play-Doh movie, another thing where I don't really have a lot of interest in. This is from DJ. The most graphic thing you've seen in a slasher film. Uh, there's a lot of things. I mean, in the Silent Night, Deadly Night remake, there's a woman who got put into a wood chipper. That was pretty graphic. Um, the shotgun to the head explosion in the Prowler. The scene in Jason Goes to Hell, the unrated version, when that one woman gets like cut in half. I mean, there's some other stuff that I've seen from slashers, but there's a lot of them. So it would take me a bit to try to get together a list or whatever. But yeah, those are some of the more graphic stuff I've seen off the top of my head. I guess this is from movie TV show M. Night Shyamalan. That's kind of fun. That's pretty funny. Is coming out with another film in 2023 called Knock at the Cabin. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it either. I'm looking forward to finally watching Unbreakable and seeing The Sixth Sense again. That's what I'm looking forward to when it comes to M. Night Shyamalan. I'm not looking forward to Knock at the Cabin. And what kind of title is that? That's such a generic, lame title. Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Well, hey, I hope you have a great and fantastic 46th birthday. This is from Johnny. How's Washington compared to other states of America? I haven't been to that many states. I was born in Hawaii, but I haven't been back, and I don't really remember a whole lot because it's been so long. My mom and my dad divorced when I was like 5, so I don't really remember that much of Hawaii. Born in Honolulu. Uh, I also lived in Oklahoma City for a little bit, for a couple years. I lived in Portland, Tigard, Oregon area for most of my life. I've been to North Carolina. I've been to North Dakota, been to Montana, Wyoming, um, Nebraska, been there quite a few times. I would say Washington is very similar to Oregon. Like they're almost identical when it comes to the weather, when it comes to a lot of other things. And it's very different compared to like Oklahoma City or Nebraska. Like very different. Like a very stark contrast. It's from Alter Ego, which is worse, AVP or Alien Covenant? Ooh, assholes versus penises is pretty bad and really disappointing. But I would say it's technically a more watchable film to me than Alien Covenant, so I guess I would give the honor to AVP. Although that film still upsets me because it's such a missed opportunity. The Dark Horse comics are phenomenal and fantastic, and Fox had the rights at the time for those. They could have just adapted the comics and they could have made a absolutely awesome movie. And of course, it had to be R. Like there's no point making a film uh, based around Alien versus Predator that's PG-13. That was a massive mistake. But so was Alien Covenant. That was pretty bad with its stupid characters and just absolute stupidity. Kim asked Burger King or McDonald's. It depends on what I'm hankering for. If it's breakfast, that's a very close battle because I really like the croissant witches from Burger King. And I really like the McMuffins from McDonald's and the McGriddles from over there. But when it comes to like burgers and fries, like McDonald's wins hands down. Even when it comes to chicken sandwiches or a lot of other uh, sides, like McDonald's is just a better overall restaurant. I would say Burger King, I like their breakfast and their tots, but like their burgers are not that great. The Whopper was okay. I think I had a Whopper pretty like a year ago, and it was all right. It's better than I thought it was going to be, but their fries suck. Burger King has some of the shittiest fries. They're awful. Um, this is from Casey Morgan. What are your favorite sports teams? In the NFL, I am a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. My dad was a Cowboys fan, and so I am a Cowboys fan. And I've heard a lot of stuff about the Cowboys draft, and I know a lot of people aren't happy about it, but I've warmed up to it. I think Dallas got some good talent there. I actually like Tyler Smith a lot more than other people do. When it comes to the NBA, Trailblazers, Portland Trailblazers fan. Although when I was a kid, I was a diehard Chicago Bulls fan because I was such a huge fan of Michael Jordan, and I also was a fan of the Hornets. I still don't know why I was such a big fan of the Charlotte Hornets, but I did like the Hornets. Um, NHL, San Jose Sharks. Man, what a rough team to root for. I mean, yeah, there were a lot of highs for the Sharks recently, as of late, for decades, but they never got it done. They never won the Stanley Cup. They had so many good teams and so many good players, and they never got it done. The one time they made it to the Stanley Cup playoffs, they got swept. They didn't even come close, and now they're terrible. They're terabad. And yeah, it just seems like I'm a fan of a lot of teams that just underachieve and underperform and haven't won a championship either ever or haven't won one in decades. So yeah, I mean the Cowboys haven't even made it past the divisional round since the 90s, let alone won a Super Bowl. Uh, and baseball, I'm not really big into. I know I used to follow the Mariners for a little bit because I lived in the Pacific Northwest, and soccer, not really into either. But really, mostly it's NHL, NBA, and NFL. This is from Alter Ego. Thoughts on Archer. I haven't seen Archer yet, but I'm curious about it because it's from the creators of Frisky Dingo, a show that I really enjoyed. I think Frisky Dingo is one of Adult Swim's more underrated shows. Um, I definitely get a major kick out of that show. I thought it was hilarious. The Exicles were pretty funny too. Yeah, it was AEW. I know. I look like a total dumbass. This is from Johnny Jerry. Uh, I don't know if you hear that or not. Somebody's doing some yard work in the back. I think my stepdad might be mowing the lawn. So forgive me. That's what's going on in the background. So someone's mowing a lawn. Johnny asks, "What are my thoughts on the Jackal and Armageddon?" I actually watched the Jackal for the first time recently, and I really liked it. It's a slow burn. It takes a bit to get going, but once it does, I thought it was a really fun thriller with some really good performances by Richard Gere and Bruce Willis. I was very surprised by how good Richard Gere's Irish accent was. And Bruce Willis played a great bad guy, and I just love the giant gun that he uses. It definitely causes a lot of damage. This is from Johnny. Said Jason Voorhees. Oh, actually, yeah, I'll go back to that because I mentioned Armageddon. Armageddon, I've always been a fan of. I don't know if I saw it in the theater or not, but I have always enjoyed that film. I think it's a really fun disaster movie, some great spectacle, some good special effects, good performances by the cast. Definitely one of my favorite Michael Bay movies. Going back to Johnny, Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. Despite the fact that I'm wearing a Halloween hat, I will pick Jason over Michael. The reason for that is because if you look at their film series, Jason has a better track record of quality films for me. Like John Carpenter's Halloween is a classic and I love it, but the Halloween franchise, there's a lot of lame or crappy sequels that I'm not really that big of a fan of. Really, my favorite horror icon is Freddy. It's Freddy Krueger. But Jason's a close second, and but Michael might be third, although I do like Pinhead and I do like Leatherface. Um Ghostface is another one. This is from Kim. Do I have any pets? Yes, I do. I have a cat. His name is Olympus. You've seen him in videos before. It's a rescue cat. I've had him for a couple years now. Definitely really appreciate and love that cat to death. Um, I also, well, I don't have these pets. These are my parents' pets, but they have another cat named Vegas. She's a tortoiseshell, and we also have a dog, a husky. His name is Milo. So yeah, definitely do have pets. This is from Kentucky Cuncator. This is a long time subscriber. Like this guy's been subscribed to me for many years. I know, yeah, I did a series on rock and roll horror films. That was heavy metal horror. That was a long time ago, and I deleted most of them because of copyright. Do I remember anyone being particularly good or bad? I remember quite a few being bad. Um, Lone Wolf was pretty shitty. That was awful. There was this other one, like what the hell was it called? It was something with the heavy metal band that was full of girls. It was an all girl metal band. I don't remember what the fuck the name of the movie was, but it was atrocious. Um, I remember being surprised by some like Blood Tracks. I thought was decent. I I get a kick out of Hard Rock Zombies. I think it's a legitimately hilarious, so bad it's good movie. I mean, that movie has like Nazi Hitler, who's a little person. It's got midget Hitler. Like it's an insane movie. And I'm a really big fan of Trick or Treat. I think that one's a genuine classic. Great soundtrack too by Fastway and some good effects for the time. And I would love to see that get a restoration or a new Blu-ray or 4K release from Vinegar Syndrome. But yeah, there was a fair amount of those films that were awful, really bad. Another one was Monster Dog, the one that features Alice Cooper in a bit role. He's not very good in it, and the film itself is crap. I mean, there's a scene where there's like this massive giant werewolf that's like hiding in the back seat. It's that one is terrible. Really bad. Um this is from Johnny. Gamera or Godzilla? Since I'm not really familiar with Gamera at all, Godzilla. It's the big G. This is from Bobby. Wrestlers are people that you dislike and got a little respect for their heroic acts. Huh. Interesting. Wrestlers that I dislike, I hate The Miz. I've always hated The Miz. I know I'm supposed to hate The Miz. I like he's a heel, but I've never hated him in a way where I love to hate him like others have. I just hate the guy. I hate his face. I hate his wrestling. Oh, he's such a safe wrestler. Good for him. But he's bland and vanilla and just nothing special in the ring. Like I've always hated the Miz. I used to hate Edge, but that's because he was such a good heel. Now I love Edge. I really like Edge. Randy Orton, I'm pretty iffy on as well. In terms of other wrestlers that I dislike, I can't really think of any off the top of my head. Brock Lesnar, I've soured on definitely over the years. People that I have a little respect for their heroic acts. I don't really know where to go with that, but I will say the EMTs, the military personnel in the armed forces and men and women over there, uh, the police officers, stuff like that. Those people, the Coast Guard, like I have a lot of respect for those people and their heroic acts. DJ asks, what are my thoughts on the Mandela effect and have I ever experienced it? I definitely do think it exists because there's a lot of people still think that Sinbad starred in a genie movie. Although I was never one of those people because I saw Kazam in the theater. Yeah, I know it's lame. I even forced my dad to take me to see that movie in the theater. Sorry, Dad. I apologize. But I never really felt that that was a Sinbad movie. I always remembered it being a Shaquille O'Neal film. But I did have a thing with the Berenstein Bears. I did have the whole AVGN thing. Like I thought it was spelled differently too until I realized that that wasn't the case. So yeah, I've heard of that. I know there's like a movie. Does anyone remember that? It was a movie that came out like a few years ago that was about the Mandela effect. This is from Michael again. Is our trilogy? No, haven't seen it. The Nolan Batman films, the kaiju genre. I don't know if that's a good thing. So they're pretentious and slow and boring at times. I don't know. Doesn't sound good to me. But it could be a lot better than it sounds. I wouldn't mind giving him a watch sometime. From True Fire Pink Guy, which of these Adam Sandler movies is better, Click or Grown Ups 2? Well, I haven't seen Grown Ups 2, so I'm going to say Click, even though Click has its issues, and I'm not a super big fan of it. It's from Kim, thoughts on the Hotel Transylvania movies? Don't have much thoughts because I haven't seen any of them. This is Cole, Cleveland torso killer. He's an unidentified serial killer in the 1930s. Murdered 12 people in Cleveland. There was a canceled attempt at a movie about it called Torso, directed by David Fincher. That's interesting. I think I have heard about that. I might have covered that case on my Unsolved Mysteries podcast because I think that might have been covered in one of the Unsolved Mysteries segments. I'm not 100% sure though. Like if it's the one that Elliot Ness was involved with and tried to solve, then yeah, we did cover it. If not, then something we probably should. And that kind of sucks that we didn't get that movie directed by David Fincher because he did an absolutely phenomenal job with Zodiac. This is for Bobby. He says, I wonder if it's okay if I put you on my story, even if the story is about you and your friends. Team up with My Little Pony, Winx Club, Godzilla, Ninja Turtles, Rambo, John Wick, and Nick Cage. Dude, that's fine. That's totally okay with me. No problem whatsoever. It's from Night of Snoke. To your knowledge, what movies that weren't based on TV show, game person's life or big hits at the box office? You can only think of Avatar offhand. Oh, that's an interesting question. I would have to think on that some more. I mean, technically, RoboCop wasn't based on anything. Neither was the Terminator. But I would say they probably weren't like massive, giant mega hits like other movies. A Quiet Place did really well recently, and that wasn't really based on anything previously. But yes, there's a lot of stuff that would take me a while to pin that one down. Thoughts on John Woo remaking The Killer for Peacock from Total Meltdown? Really? He's remaking his own movie? Why? That's my thoughts on that. Why? Can we get an actual official Blu-ray or 4K of The Killer? How about that? Instead of a remake. This is from Johnny. Favorite, least favorite movie in 1989. Man, least favorite film in 1989? I know Lords of the Deep is pretty high up there. That film was trash. Favorite 1989, but that's a good year. I mean, you got Batman, you got Back to the Future Part 2, you've got Lethal Weapon 2, The Abyss. Like there's a lot of really great classic films from 89. So I don't Ghostbusters 2, like, I don't know if I can really say I have a favorite film from 1989. Do have a few least favorites, though. Definitely do not like Lords of the Deep. I know there's did The Experts come out in '89? Like, if it came out in '89, that would definitely be up there. I mean, what the hell was John Travolta thinking with that movie? The Experts. From Cole, he says, "Have I played Batman: Arkham Asylum?" I haven't really gotten that far with the game, but I do remember, like, one night popping it into my Xbox 360 and trying it out, and I didn't mind what I was playing, but I just didn't get that far with it. That's another thing I would like to play more of, for sure. It's from Michael. Thoughts on Chris Pratt voicing Mario and Jack Black voicing Bowser? Chris Pratt did a great job in the Lego movie, but he's not that's a different kind of role altogether than Mario. Jack Black voicing Bowser, I guess maybe that'd work. I mean, technically you could argue Dennis Hopper played Bowser in the live action movie, even though he wasn't called Bowser. Speaking of a live action Mario, I really like that film. I've always liked it ever since I was a kid. And I was a kid who played a lot of Mario. So I wasn't one of those kids that was disappointed and upset and pissed off at the movie because it wasn't like the game. I still had a lot of fun with it, and I still do. It's not perfect. It definitely is flawed in terms of the script or the characters, but it's such a unique, wild, inventive movie that I can't help but really enjoy it. I really like it for the crazy film that it is. Um, it's from Kim. He says, "Critters or Gremlins?" I mean, there's been more Critters movies, but I'll give it to Gremlins. Although I don't mind Critters. I like Critters 2. I like the Critters 1, but I'll give it to Gremlins. This is from Johnny. Are you a Pokemon fan? Not now, but I was when I was a kid. I had a ton of Pokemon cards. I used to watch the anime. What wasn't it on WB Kids? Wasn't it on WB at one point? Um, I might be mistaken, but I could have sworn it was on WB at one point. But yeah, I used to watch Pokemon and had the cards, and I remember the Burger King tie-ins, with the Pokeball and stuff like that. Scythemore, do I attend Comic Cons? I would love to. Just haven't had the time, haven't had the money. I mean, one of my dreams is to go to a major Comic Con in the future, or a horror convention, like one of those major horror conventions, like in the Midwest. Um, I went to a horror convention in Portland a few years ago, and that's where I met my late friend Shonda, who passed away, I think, like a couple years ago of cancer. And I met her over. I didn't necessarily meet her there. I met her at a movie theater at a showing of a film, and then she let me know about this comic. It's not really a Comic Con, but there were some comics there. She let me know about this horror convention in Portland, Oregon, and I volunteered there. And it was like the first and last horror convention in Portland, but it was fun. It was a fun time going to that con, and I definitely miss Shonda. Just a really great, unique, wonderful person. Um, which movie is worse, Star Wars: The Last Jedi or The Dark Knight Rises? Ooh. Um. Oh man, I hate The Dark Knight Rises because it's just absolutely a total bastardization of Nightfall and Night's End, two of my favorite Batman comics and arcs. Last Jedi is also a bastardization of things. Like, it completely ruins the character Luke Skywalker. I would say The Dark Knight Rises because The Force Awakens was okay, but I wasn't as big of a fan of it as I was Batman Begins or The Dark Knight. So it's one of those things where The Dark Knight Rises is a film that I would say is worse because of how badly it fucks up the comics. I mean, it takes aspects of No Man's Land and Nightfall and Night's End, and just throws them into a blender and just makes a shitty shake out of it. And the Star Wars: The Last Jedi is awful in its own way with its deconstructing nonsense. But I would say The Dark Knight Rises is worse. Definitely pisses me off more. This is another one from Cole. Who is worse, Ezra Miller or Amber Heard? It's a tie. Both of them are pieces of shit. This is from Total Meltdown. Have you heard of Misery Brothers with Leo Rossi? No, I haven't heard of that. I've heard of Leo Rossi. I know he was like the star of Relentless, a film that I have on DVD, and I have the sequels on VHS, but I've never heard of that one. I forgot that I called him M. Night Shyamalan. All right. This is from true. Speaking of M. Night Shyamalan, which director is better or worse, Michael Bay or M. Night Shyamalan? M. Night. M. Night. This is from Reconfigured 3D, I think, 98. Would you rather watch Amazing Bulk or the Disney Star Wars movies? I've never seen the Amazing Bulk. I've heard of it, and it's awful. So I guess I would rather watch the Disney Star Wars movies. This is from Blast Radius. Is like, had any more of those seaweed chips lately? No, I haven't had any more of those nasty, disgusting things. God, those are awful. Oh, that's interesting. This is today is the 20th anniversary of Spider-Man, the 2002 film. Now, I saw that in the theater. I saw that on opening weekend. I was a huge Spider-Man fan. Grew up watching the animated series, reading the comics. Loved that film growing up. I'm not as big on that film as I used to be. I can still watch it, but I find it to be a little bit more disappointing than anything else. I mean, the final fight between Spider-Man and Goblin is so lame. Like, Spider-Man barely gets any shots in on Green Goblin. And, like, the humor is just pretty poor. And I don't know. It also is a film that does definitely feel like something from its era. It's kind of dated itself, but, yeah, it's still a movie that holds a special place in my heart. I mean, it was quite the experience, quite the spectacle seeing it when I was a kid in the theater. Um, and if you're talking about an adaptation of like the 60s Spider-Man, it's a good adaptation of that Spider-Man, but I didn't grow up with that Spider-Man. I grew up with the 90s Spider-Man. So that's why I'm more partial to the Amazing Spider-Man films now than the 2002 film. It's from Casey. My all-time favorite male and female wrestlers, respectively, are Stone Cold Steve Austin, Sasha Banks, and Dallas Cowboys. Cool, fellow Cowboys fan. Sasha Banks is pretty cool. If I were to make a tat or T-shirt, like, what would I have on it? I don't know. I don't have any catchphrases. I don't have anything that special. Maybe if someone did like some fan art with me as RoboCop, I don't know. Like, that's the only thing I could think of. Number one favorite Disney movie. That's tough. But I guess off the top of my head, I might say it's like the Mighty Ducks or D2 the Mighty Ducks. Like, I really, really like those films. I still like those films quite a bit. It's from Reconfigured. Did I watch iCarly? Actually, I did. I did watch iCarly. Like, there was a certain point in my life, like, where I was still watching Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, and I was technically supposedly too old to be doing that, but I was still watching them like in my 20s. I think that's because of this autism that I have. Like, my brain developmentally is like not the same age as the rest of my body. So, like, I was still like in my teens while my body was in its 20s. So I think that's probably why I was still like, oh, there's nothing wrong with watching iCarly. I haven't seen the reboot though. And he also asks, what do I remember the channel Jetix? Vaguely. Vaguely. Not a whole lot of strong memories of it though. Well, thank you, Vanderhoff. I uh I definitely enjoy making them. I would like to do more. Definitely do more of those horror films of the 1980s. Would love to write that book. Just got to find the time. Little difficult now, working two jobs. Predminator asks, do I like Pacific Rim? I wasn't a big fan of the first film. Haven't seen the second one. I agree with Matt. It's more like a Pacific Rim job. I'll take Robot Jocks. I'll take that over Pacific Rim. I'm gonna get in this thing and I'm gonna kick your ass. uh, this is from Michael. It's like, have I seen Rain of Fire? Yes, but I haven't seen it in years. I do have a fun story about Rain of Fire. When I was living with my not when I was living with my dad, when I was spending the night with him, when I was like preteen or something. I remember watching Rain of Fire with my dad, and then his dad, who was staying with him, just throwing a massive fit because it was too loud. That's what I remember. Like we had the film like blaring, and his dad was like being a bitch about it, and then my dad finally like got sick of it and got in a little bit of a yelling argument with his dad. It was awkward, and that's really what I remember uh from Rain of Fire is this fiery argument between my dad and his dad. Um this is from Burning Exeter. Is like, what do you think of the Last Boy Scout, Longest Goodnight, Runaway Train being in the same universe? Never heard of that. Never heard of them being a part of the same universe. I I don't know how they could be, but okay. Um So for Night of Snoke again, who should the main antagonist to Joker and Joker 2 be? Huh. Joker 2? I don't know if they're gonna do a Joker 2. If they do, I don't know if you're gonna have an antagonist. Like you just have the Joker, just continue to follow his rise to power as the Clown Prince of Crime. Clown Prince of Prime. No, that's the Transformers version of Joker. That's a completely different thing. Um It's from Johnny. Do I have any fears? Well, I was really afraid of spiders at one point. I kind of blame arachnophobia for that, but then over the years I've gotten over it. Unless it's like a really big, giant, massive spider. Because there was like one spider that was like in the corner. Like you see right behind me, like in the far like end of this corner of that wall behind me. There was like this massive spider. It was like this freaking, I'm not kidding. Like it was this big. That thing freaked me the fuck out. I took care of it with a vacuum. That's what I've been doing. I've been using like these vacuums that are like they have like a long attachment. You take one end off, and then you have like this suction thing that can like just suck up pretty much anything. So I've been using that for spiders, and that's helped me with my fear of spiders. Um, in terms of other stuff, I mean the typical sort of things. I mean death. I mean a lot of people are afraid of death. I'm definitely one of those people. I mean when I got hit by that car and I flew 15 feet in the air and landed face first on the asphalt, yeah, I definitely was pretty afraid of dying in that moment. I remember being in the back of the ambulance and I was just like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And then I remember like the EMT, he was just like, you're not gonna die. You're not gonna die. Like I could just imagine in the back of his head, he's like, God, can this kid just shut up? It's not even that serious of an injury. But yeah, and there was one point I was a little more leery of heights. And I still kind of am, depending on how high it is. Um, any David Ayer films that I've watched: Dark Blue, Fury, Harsh Times, Street Kings that I've watched. The only David Ayer film that I've seen is Suicide Squad. I would like to see Dark Blue and Fury and Street Kings and End of Watch though. I have End of Watch on Blu-ray. I have Fury in 4K. I have Dark Blue on Blu-ray. I might have seen Dark Blue at one point. but it's been forever. I don't really remember a lot about it. Johnny asked, "Do I think The Siege is underrated?" No, not really. I just think that film's okay. I watched it for the first time recently, and I just thought it was all right. Like, there's not a lot of things about that film that are genuinely like great to me. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's fine or above average, but nothing that's like fantastic. From the direction to the writing, to even some of the performances. It's just one of those films where I thought it was okay. I think it's more of a film that's remembered more because of the fact that it predated the 9/11 attacks than it is for the film itself. Also, I didn't like the ending of the movie. It was way too predictable, and it was just like, really? Like, the guy who's the head of the last terrorist cell is that guy? Like, it seemed like it was something that was pretty obvious. Um, this is another one from Predmator. My favorite Jaws film, the first film, hands down. It's classic. Love it. Don't mind Jaws 2. I think Jaws 3 is actually a little underrated. It's fun for what it is. Jaws 4 The Revenge though is sucks. It's terrible. Um from Jedizilla, favorite tag team in wrestling. Ooh, I really like the Hardy Boys. I was a big fan of the tag team with Christian and Edge. I like Team 3D. In TNA, I really liked God, what is the name of that? God, I don't know why it's not coming to me. America's Most Wanted, that was a good one. I also like the Motor City Machine Guns. But it was like this other like bigger tag team in TNA, and it's just not coming to me for some reason. It's like Cowboy Bob Storm and this other guy, and God damn it, it's not coming to me for some reason. My memory's a little too hazy on it. Maybe it'll come to me later. Um, do I like the horror film Dead Silence? I haven't seen it yet. I'm definitely curious about it. That's for sure. Um, do I ever plan on doing a rant video looking at 1-star IMDb reviews of movies? I've thought about it. It might be kind of a fun thing to do sometime. Maybe I'll just save that for a stream. That might be a fun topic to use for a stream. Favorite and least favorite underdog action hero comeback from Bobby Reynolds. Like, do you mean like a movie or like an actor who comes back who's in the action genre? I would say my favorite comeback for an action hero actor is Sylvester Stallone when he came back and did Rambo in 2008. Least favorite, I could say it's Stallone when he came back and did Rambo 5, and stuff like Escape Plan. But I'll say Schwarzenegger when he came back. Like, it was a lot of lame movies that weren't not nearly as good as his best efforts. Um, and I'm not going to say Seagal because he never really had a comeback. He just stayed in direct-to-video land. Predator, yes, have I watched the thing 4K? Yeah, it I have. I haven't watched it all the way through, but it looks absolutely fucking amazing. Highly recommend it. Have I eaten Chinese food? Absolutely. Enjoy Chinese food. I also like Thai food as well. Kim asks, what's the number one worst movie I've ever seen? That's difficult, but I would probably have to say, because of the subject matter and because of just how incompetent and how annoying and how bad these films are, the August Underground movies. I would say those are the worst films that I've seen off the top of my head. Thoughts on Extreme Prejudice? Incredibly underrated action movie. Great direction by Walter Hill. Great cast. Um, really pumped and excited that it's getting a Blu-ray that's coming out later this month from Vestron Collector Series, getting a special edition. From Movie TV, have I seen Spartan? No, but I've heard of it. I have not seen it though. I haven't seen it yet. Thoughts on Rob Zombie's movies? Just search Rob Zombie films on my channel. I pretty much reviewed. I think I have reviewed all of them. There might have been some I might have missed, but I think I reviewed all the Rob Zombie movies. I'm not a big fan. House of a Thousand Corpses, I don't mind for the visuals. The Devil's Rejects is another one I thought was okay. I hated Three from Hell. Did not like 31. Did not care for Lords of Salem. Haunted World of El Super Beasto was kind of fun, but then also not really that great either. So yeah, I'm not a big Rob Zombie fan. Uncle Buck, like, Bobby? You want my thoughts on Uncle Buck, or just bet you know Uncle Buck? I really like Uncle Buck. It's a classic. One of my favorite John Candy films. Favorite movie of 1990. That's a good year. There's a lot of good films to choose from 1990, but one of them is absolutely Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first live action Ninja Turtles film. I also really like Adventures of Ford Fairlane. I think that's a underrated gem. Of course, RoboCop 2. Um, I'd have to look at a list of 1990 films to really pin my favorite down, but TMNT would be very high up there. And speaking of films that need a new release, can that get a new release? Can we get a special edition of the 1990 Ninja Turtles movie? Can we get a 4K? Can we get a remaster? Like, why is that still stuck on an old ancient master from New Line with no real features? It's just an absolute bogus scenario. It's definitely not bodacious. Swap roles, Tom Hanks and Jim Carrey. For just a hypothetical thing, the swap some roles. I'd put Tom Hanks in The Majestic because I think he'd fit better in that kind of movie. And in terms of a Tom Hanks movie with Jim Carrey, trying to think of something that would work for Jim Carrey that Tom Hanks was in. I definitely wouldn't do Forrest Gump. Not Apollo 13. I don't know. Like, Big might be interesting. Big might have been interesting to have seen Jim Carrey, see what his energy could have done for that. Predator mentions Deep Star 6. Yeah, Deep Star 6 is okay. Like, Leviathan's better, and The Abyss is absolutely great. Jedizilla, favorite film in 1984 and least favorite film of that year. Whew. It's a good year. I'd have to look up a list. I can't really think of it off the top of my head, unfortunately. I'd have to look up a list of 84 films. It's like there's a movie where a person has the ability to pause time. I click to stop the time loop. Clock Stoppers. I don't know if Paycheck has something like that. It sounds like a Clock Stoppers thing. This is from Drake. Scream movie ranking, favorite to least favorite. Favorite, Scream, the original, the first film. Second favorite, Scream 2. Third favorite, Scream 4. Fourth favorite, Scream 3. And my least favorite is Scream 5. From Total Meltdown, thoughts on Conker's Bad Fur Day and GoldenEye. Never played Conker's Bad Fur Day, but I do remember playing GoldenEye and then N64 with my friends. It was a pretty popular game. From Juno, what are my thoughts on what movie won in Cool Duder? Don't have much to say. I don't really watch their content. Not really super big on their videos. I know they make all these like crazy thumbnails, like look what I found. You know, stuff like, oh, like stupid, silly shit like that. Look what I found at Walmart. I found Pulp Fiction. You know, yeah, not a big fan of those videos. I also don't like the fact that they're never really that honest with their takes on these films because they don't want to lose the freebies that they get. So they're always praising everything for the most part. It's from Chongo. Have you seen the Bruce Willis movie, The Story of Us? No, I know that's one that stars Michelle Pfeiffer, but I have not seen that one. I don't know if I want to watch that for my marathon of Bruce Willis movies because it doesn't really interest me that much, but I don't know. It depends. Thoughts on Surrogates? I like it. I don't love the film, but I like the movie. This is from Jedizilla. Thoughts on The Last of Us? Don't have much thoughts because I've never played the game. Sounds like it might be all right. I've heard the sequel is pretty bad, but yeah. That's from Juno. Do I think the A24 movie company is destroying horror films? I wouldn't say they're destroying horror films, because at least they are trying to throw in some new ideas. At least they're trying to do their own thing when it comes to the genre. And they also aren't films that make like a ton of money. So it's not like they're making such a significant impact to like make horror films in general more pretentious or more um, heavy when it comes to social commentary. So I don't think they're really destroying horror films, even though I don't like a lot of them. Uh, Sovereign Chongo, have I seen Miracle Mile? Yes, that's a good one. That's an underrated film. Good performances. Uh, Maury Winningham, Anthony Edwards. Those two actually hooked up recently. They met for an interview for a Blu-ray for special features, and they eloped afterwards, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Most overrated horror movie for him, it's White Zombie. For Cole, I don't know. That's a little tough. That's a little tough. Um, Maybe Psycho. I like Psycho. I like the original Psycho with Anthony Perkins. I just honestly prefer the second one better. Another one that I could throw out there is the original Night of the Living Dead. I like the remake a lot more. Both Psycho and Night of the Living Dead are films that I have a lot of respect for because of the new ground that they broke when it comes to the genre, but I'm not really big fans of those. Which is worse? Snyder Cut Batman versus Superman or Dark Knight Rises? Dark Knight Rises. At least in Batman versus Superman, I still have that awesome fight in the warehouse, no matter what version of that film that I watch. Um, so from Juno, yeah, I've been seeing some lackluster releases lately. Yeah, a lot of re-releases. I'm not going to complain too much because the craft has needed a new transfer for a long time. But yeah, a little definitely lackluster. Um, I have Watchers 2. I did pick that up actually, as well as Communion. Um, am I glad that Out of Sight and True Romance are getting 4K releases? Out of Sight, I don't really have much to say because I actually haven't seen that one, but I am really psyched about True Romance. This is from Sam. I've been watching you since your early Cannibal Holocaust videos. Wow, that's definitely pretty early. Hey there, and once again, hello to everybody that's joined in. Yeah, those Cannibal Holocaust videos did really well. Even the one that I did later on did pretty good. I'm pretty sure I could probably do another one and it would still do well. I guess the name just sparks a lot of people's interest. I wouldn't mind doing another video on Cannibal Holocaust actually, because my original video is way too long. So, Juno, am I going to review the Candyman film series? I was going to do it at some point last year. I think I was going to do it for Halloween, but then things changed in terms of my plans because I did watch them all. And I think I'll wait till June. The 4K comes out. I'll probably do that sometime next month then. I'll do Candyman. I really like the first film. It's a very atmospheric, just amazing film in so many aspects. The second one, I'm not super big on, but it has its moments. The third film, for the most part, sucked, except for the actor who played one of the characters in Nightmare on Elm Street, who's Sue Garcia. Like that was his name that he used for Nightmare on Elm Street, but that's not the name that he used for Candyman 3. And the reboots slash sequel, I hated. What a pretentious pile of fuck that was. Johnny Jerry, favorite Sylvester Stallone movie of all time. I'm gonna get a drink of water real quick, and then I'll think about that. That's tough because I love a lot of his films. I love Rocky 3. I love Rocky 4. I love Demolition Man. Um, love Cliffhanger. Really like Rocky Balboa, like Rambo 3, First Blood, Tango and Cash. I don't know if I really have a favorite Sylvester Stallone movie of all time because he just has so many good films. Do I think The Ring is one of the most overrated horror films? Can't really say because I haven't seen it. Yeah, Total Meltdown. I guess it did make sense. It was the first real supervillain he had faced, but even in the comics, when he faced his first real supervillain, he still got more hits in. So I guess you could say it makes sense, but I didn't really care about it. I mean, I didn't really care for that. I didn't care for that approach. iCarly is a legitimately great show, but Drake and Josh is fucking great. I also remember watching Drake and Josh a lot. Was a big fan of that. And it's a shame that Josh Drake is. I mean, not Josh Drake. It's a shame that Blake. I can't speak for some reason. It's a shame that Drake Bell was such a. He just turned out to be such a jerk off in real life. Which is the more overrated movie, Fargo or Titanic? Titanic. Fargo is great. Fargo is fantastic. What's the worst X-Men film you haven't seen? How can I say that it's the worst X-Men film if I haven't seen it? I'm just saying, like, I guess the worst X-Men movie that I've seen that I could think of at the top of my head would probably be Apocalypse. What's my opinion of Ghostface Cult with different mask variations, the potential plot in Scream 6? I might be interested in that. I know that's something they hinted at maybe doing for Scream 3, but then they decided to do a different thing. So I don't know, it just depends on how they do it. Excuse me, just still have some residual Outback. Did I watch The Sadness yet? No. Haven't seen that. Haven't seen that one. Yeah, I have seen the new Batman. I did a review it. You can just search it on my channel. I really enjoyed it. Definitely my favorite film that I've seen from this year so far. Well, all right. Okay. Well, happy birthday, Will. This is from Ryan. Who's my favorite Batman villain? I do really like the Joker, but I'm also a really big fan of Clayface, Two-Face. I like Scarecrow. Really like Mr. Freeze. I like Bane from the comics, not from The Dark Knight Rises. So I don't know if I really have a favorite Batman villain, but I have a lot of ones that I really like. I also like Firefly, and I'm curious to see what Brendan Fraser is going to do with that character in Batgirl. From Psycho Hobo, are you a fan of sour Skittles? Not really. Not really a big fan of sour things or Skittles. It's from Greg. Have I had any paranormal experiences? I don't know if I could really say it's for sure paranormal. It could just been sleep paralysis or something, but I think there was something going on. And when I was living with my dad in Oklahoma City, I was experiencing some kind of negative vibes. My step uncle was staying there, and he's got some serious mental health issues, and he had been in prison. And I'm not saying that people who prison are always negative people. Like some people, they make a mistake, like my stepbrother, and they go to prison, but then they learn from it and become better people. But I, so he was a pretty violent guy, and it attracted some really negative energy. And I remember late one night, just sleeping on the couch, and I could have sworn something was watching me. Like I felt something just staring holes through me. And then I turned around and I looked up, and I could have sworn I saw this like shadowy, dark figure just peering down at me. And it definitely scared the crap out of me, that's for sure. And I wasn't the only one seeing these shadow people, because my stepmom and my dad were also seeing these things in the house. And it got to the point where we actually brought in a priest to bless the house. So I would say, that could be considered a paranormal experience. Ryan says he's afraid of dogs attacking him. I'm kind of afraid of that too, because I had dogs attack me. Another thing was living in Oklahoma City, and there was dogs that were off the leash. I was just walking home from work, and they just barreled from underneath the fence and just chased after me and bit me in the back of the leg. I'm not. That's honestly the fastest I've ever ran in my life, running away from those dogs. I know some people are saying you shouldn't run away. It's like, I didn't know any of that. I didn't know I was supposed to stand my ground and tell the dog to shut up and no, like, don't run. I did not know about that. Um, hey there, Max Payne. Thank you. Thanks for the birthday wish. Another long-time subscriber. Trying to Total Meltdown as Tropic Thunder, a modern day comedy classic. I actually do feel that way. I saw it in the theater, laughed my ass off. I think it's one of the better meta comedies from that era. And it's a movie that was really ahead of its time in terms of skewering a lot of things. And it's a movie that's hilarious. I understand why some people find it to be triggering and whatever, but it's comedy. And I think it's really well done comedy. And I miss the days of comedy when they were taking risks and being more edgy and weren't just wussing out. I mean, speaking of edgy comedy, I've been watching this short-lived HBO comedy series from 1992 called Hardcore TV. I don't know if anybody's heard of this, but it's had its moments for sure. I mean, like a This Old House parody with Bob Vila called This Old Whorehouse. Um, this this bit where you have Barney, but what if Barney was doing raunchy stand-up comedy? Like if Andrew Dice Clay was Barney the dinosaur. So I thought that was pretty funny. Um, there's been some gems from that show for sure, and some really shocking, crazy stuff. I mean, there's a whole like bit with stop motion that's like white supremacist Barbie. Like it's all kinds of fucked up and insane. Uh, there's another bit that's very topical now that shows like a bunch of cops like kicking a guy, and then it has like an Energizer bunny on the bottom, and it's making like an Energizer bunny parody of, like he keeps going and going and going. Yeah, this show was really offensive, but definitely funny at times. There's other times though where the joke is a little too cheap, and they have some repeated gags, like this old woman who's interviewing a bunch of sports players and asking them whether they like doggy style, and that really didn't do anything for me. But I have to admit, I've gotten some laughs from that show. Only lasted like 8 or 9 episodes, and I'm not surprised, to be honest. There's another one where it's like a Bullwinkle parody. It was like Raging Bullwinkle. You know, like Bullwinkle from Rocky and Bullwinkle, but if he was in Raging Bull. From Predator, did I see the Chucky show? No. Not really that interested in it, but it is what it is. What do I think of 12 Monkeys? I liked it. I didn't love it, but I did like it. It definitely features what I would consider to be one of Bruce Willis's best performances of his career. Some good direction by Terry Gilliam. I would say I like films like Brazil more though when it comes to Terry Gilliam, but it's still one of my favorite films that he's done. It's like Night of Snoke. What are the worst animated movies and TV shows that I've seen in my life, and why were they bad? Worst animated movies and TV shows. Animated movies. I do remember being really disappointed by the return of Jafar, but I'm not the only one. I thought that sucked. I don't know if it was like the worst animated movie, but definitely one of the worst animated movies I saw when I was a kid. Um, TV shows. Oh man, I don't know. Like I didn't see a lot of shows that I remember like hating when I was a kid. Like there's shows that I wasn't as big of a fan of as others, but I remember like outright hating them. I do remember like all that when the original cast cycled out and they brought in these new people. I do remember it kind of sucking pretty hard then. And I think there's a reason why you can't really find barely any episodes of those seasons online because they were not well loved by any means. Um this is from Boomstick. Have I ever had my own idea for a Predator movie? Yeah, I did. I had an idea for like a crazy giant massive Predator film, loosely based on the Dark Horse comic Concrete Jungle, where the Predators come to New York and they try to invade. And in that comic, Dutch was involved. So my idea would be to have Dutch, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger again, team up with Harrigan for Predator 2. And then there would be other people that we brought in, and they would all be like major big action film stars. So you'd have Sylvester Stallone play a character, and he would get brought in to help create this super team of Predator fighters. And you'd also have Jean-Claude Van Damme or Dolph Lundgren, and they'd all fight the Predator like in different places. Like it wouldn't just stay in New York City. Like it might head to some other part of the country or the world. I just had it would just be an epic, a big, giant, badass spectacle. Well, these fairly big movie stars at the time kicking all kinds of Predator ass. So I always thought that would be pretty cool. Um Brian DT, have you ever eaten pizza? Of course I have. Who hasn't eaten pizza? Love pizza. Big fan of Round Table's Maui Zowie. I like Papa John's. Don't really like John. You know, Papa himself seems like kind of an asshole. But I like the barbecue chicken pizza. I like Mod Pizza that's around here. Some good stuff there. Um, do 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 do. Um, so from Pred, my favorite Iron Man film. Mine's the first two. Saw that in the theater. Really liked that. Um, I know I've heard of this. Like the Wave Water trailer leaked. I haven't seen it yet. I don't want to watch a leaked trailer. I've seen some screenshots and they looked great, but that's to be expected. I'm still not that psyched about the sequel. Don't really care. from Will Ferrell, number one. Do I like Brett Spiner? Yeah. I mean, I grew up watching Star Trek: The Next Generation. Data is a legend, in my opinion, a legendary character, and that makes Brent Spiner a legend. Max Payne mentions, have I seen the 2004 Hong Kong action film The Throwdown? No. But if it's a Hong Kong action movie, definitely something that might have some definite promise, for sure. From Dark Gold Dust. Did the scene where the guy played in Big Trouble ever freak you out? No. Never really freaked me out that much. I can see why it might have freaked out some people, though. So from Ryan, do I miss Jim Henson? Every day. Like, what an amazing, generous, just kind person. Very talented, just a visionary. And in a lot of ways, he did represent Kermit in real life. Like, he was very similar to Kermit in multiple different ways. Definitely someone who's missed. Which movie is worse, Godzilla or Batman Forever? I like Godzilla, so even though I don't mind Batman Forever, I guess I got to give it to Batman Forever because I hate Tommy Lee Jones in that movie. Why won't you just die? Like, ugh. Most underrated of these three: Running Scared, Paul Walker, Equilibrium, or Man Apart. Three films I haven't seen yet, so I can't say that which one is more underrated. Thoughts on Collateral? Film that I liked, but I haven't seen in forever. Definitely would like to see that again. How do I feel about The Island with Dr. Moreau, with Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando? That infamously a bad train wreck of a movie. Not a big fan of the film. I do like Stan Winstead's makeup effects. I know Val Kilmer was a massive prick on the set, and I know Marlon Brando was difficult to work with. It's one of those movies where the behind the scenes story of the making of the movie is a lot more interesting than the movie itself. And I know Richard Stanley, I know there's a lot of stuff going around with him, but regardless of that, it's still a really interesting documentary that Richard Stanley was a part of that talked about that film and why everything just went to hell in a handbasket behind the scenes. Yeah, Boomstick, I am a Jim Henson fan. I grew up watching The Muppet Show on Disney Channel, The Muppet Movie, Great Muppet Caper, Muppet Treasure Island, the Muppet Christmas Carol, Muppets Take Manhattan. I used to watch Muppet Babies on TV all the time. Greg mentions, will you be getting the Arrow version of Girls Night Out? No. But the slasher with a guy dressed as a giant teddy bear? Like, if it's on sale sometime, sure, but nah. Not for me. It's from Dark Gold Dust. Do I smoke? Nope. And you're not the first one to ask. Like, I remember when I used to, like, take the bus to places. I had a lot of people that would, like, stop me, be like, hey, do you have a smoke? Do you have a light? And I'm like, no, I don't have anything. I guess I just had a smoker look, wearing a leather jacket and, like, a hat. I don't know what it was. Just giving off smoker vibes. And there's nothing wrong if you smoke. It's just I don't get why people thought I was a smoker. From Adam, am I going to finish reviewing the rest of Tales of the Crypt? Eventually. I'm hoping sometime next month or the month after that, I'll at least do season 5. This is from Stating the Obvious Dude. Opinion on our Ocarina of Time. I actually haven't played that. I haven't played that or any of the Zelda games, so I don't have much of an opinion. Oh man, that sucks. cred about Wet Movie. He's going through hard times now, having to leave his house. Might live temporary in a hotel. Well, I mean, I'm not a big fan of his stuff, but I don't wish that upon anyone, so I hope he gets on his feet. So from Sam, who apparently has been a subscriber for a long time. Thanks for your support. Thanks for all of your support to anyone else who's been subscribed or joining in with this stream. Wish you would review The Fog 2005 so bad. I'll consider it. I'll definitely consider it. I hate that movie. I haven't seen it since it came out. I love John Carpenter's The Fog. It's one of my favorite Carpenter films. And that film was such a shit stain. Such a shit bag of a movie. Yeah, just trying to catch up here. Trying to find some questions from Max Payne. Thoughts on Fast Times? Really enjoy the film. I did a review of it on the channel. I would say I could definitely see why it's a classic. It's considered would be one of the best 80s coming of age comedies. Ryan asked, will I ever review Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Maybe. Another film I definitely like. It's great 4K too. Definitely recommend that one. Yeah, Boomstick. I wish the Scream Factory would have been able to get their hands on the original Wes Craven cut of Cursed as well, but apparently it just doesn't exist. It's like the uncut version of Event Horizon. Oh, it exists, but not really, because no one can find it. Toast and Stardom. Name a Blu-ray DVD with excellent extra features or content that keeps you returning to it more often than any other in your collection. Ooh, that's a really good question. There's a lot of them. I will say this, I've returned to the Alien quadrilogy quite often because of their excellent documentaries about the making of the Alien films. So I'd say that's definitely the one that comes to mind. But there's other ones that have a lot of other good stuff too. Chungo, Black Knight with Martin Lawrence. I haven't seen that in ages. I remember like seeing with my dad. I think we rented it from like Blockbuster or something. It's one where I'm like, it's all right. It's okay. It's a time waster. From Winter Flowers. Doing good. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, I think Batman was pretty decent. I think it was a pretty decent review. Let's look for some more horror films where you were liking and then the ending ruined your enjoyment. Oh, I guess you might not consider this to be a horror film, but it has some elements. Upgrade is one of them. That ending ruined it for me. Cemetery Man. I liked it. I liked the visuals. I liked the twisted, weird sense of humor. There were other things about it that I didn't like, but it wasn't to the point where I really, really hated it. And then the ending happened where it all took place inside a fucking snow globe, and it just ruined the film for me. There's probably some others, but Cemetery Man is very high on my list. Outside of the Indiana Jones films, this is from Adam. And Star Wars films, what is your favorite Harrison Ford performance? I really like Harrison Ford as an actor. Outside of that, it might be Air Force One, because I really like that performance and I really like that film. Get off my damn plane. Films that this is from Jedizilla. Films that I didn't like at first, I grew to like the movie. Leviathan. I kept falling asleep watching that movie. It didn't really grab me. I kept giving it more and more chances, and then I just grew to really like and appreciate the movie. Now it's one of my favorites. I even have a poster of it somewhere. Um, Another film that I didn't like at first and grew to like, Nothing But Trouble with Chevy Chase. I was like, this isn't for me, and it finding it to be that funny. But then I kept catching it on TV and started getting a little bit more of the jokes and the quirky sense of humor, and it really grew on me. So really like that one. Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Initially, I liked them, but then I soured on them, and then I revisited them, and then I grew to like them again. Um, Craig Murray. What do I think is the most underrated Jack Nicholson movie? Hmm. I think Hoffa's pretty underrated. It's got a good Jack Nicholson performance as Jimmy Hoffa. Uh, I don't know about any other one off the top of my head though. That's a good drama. Great cast too, with Joe Pesci's also in it. Uh, from Christopher, thoughts on Insane Clown Posse? Have they ever figured out how magnets work? I don't really have much thoughts because I'm not really a fan. I don't really listen to a lot of their music. I am aware of them though because of some hilarious reviews of their songs or their content. Yeah, I have seen the 1998 Avengers Jedizilla. It's awful. Like what the hell? Sean Connery in a teddy bear suit and a weather machine. There's some kind of plot straight out of an episode of the G.I. Joe cartoon. Uh, This is from Juno. Thoughts of the Masters of Horror show. I like it. I would love for it to get another release on Blu-ray where you can get all the uh episodes in one go because a good chunk of them are out of print now. Some of the episodes are better than others. Uh, I think it might have worked even better if they were just 30 minutes, like Tales from the Crypt, instead of it being like almost an hour. Because some of the stories definitely don't hold up when it comes to having that extended length. But I would recommend it if you're a fan of anthology shows for sure. Definitely like the Argento ones. The two Carpenter ones are there. Um, but yeah, there's a fair amount of them that are pretty good. It's from Michael Monet. Thoughts on Margot Robbie playing Barbie? I mean, I don't have much to say. I don't really give a shit about Barbie. I like Margot Robbie, but I don't care. I don't care about the Barbie movie. Um, no, 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 no. From Johnny, thoughts on Dances with Wolves. I don't have much thoughts because the last time I tried to watch it, I fell asleep. I haven't tried to watch it since, so don't have much to say. This is from Ryan. Have I seen Chicken Little? No, I've seen some reviews of it, but I've never seen the film. Ryan again asks, do I think the Iron Giant is a more successful version of ET? I guess if you put it in that context, sure. I mean, I do like the Iron Giant a lot more than ET. Juno asks, have you seen VHS 94? No. I'm curious about it though, because I've heard some interesting things about it. Like there's some nice practical creature effects in it. And speaking of people who might be speaking of creature effects, if you haven't seen Antlers yet, go check it out because there's a lot of practical creature effects in that one. This is from Boomstick. Am I a fan of Interview with the Vampire? Yep, really like that one. That's a classic to me. That's another one I think could definitely benefit from a remaster, like a 4K release from the studio. It's from Ryan. In Congo, what's your opinion on Amy? I like Amy. I didn't have a problem with the ape and the talking machine. I really like Congo. I think it's a fun adventure movie. Hey, Boomstick, I talked about it a little bit earlier in the stream, but I'll mention it again here. Why? Why is he remaking his own film? From Cole, yeah, I did hear about the canceled Ripley's Believe It or Not movie, directed by Tim Burton with Jim Carrey. That would have been interesting. Would have been curious to see that. Speaking of Ripley's Believe It or Not, does anyone remember the Ripley's Believe It or Not show that used to air on like USA, I think, hosted by Dean Cain? Because I used to watch that shit all the time. That was a fun show. And I didn't even know he was the guy from Lois and Clark. For many, many years, I just thought he was the guy who hosted Ripley's Believe It or Not. It might have been, I don't know if it was TBS. I think it was USA, but it could have been TBS or TNT. I'm thinking it might have been TNT now that I think about it. I could be wrong though, but I used to watch that all the time. And I actually went to the Ripley's Believe It or Not I think there was one in Oregon. I went to that one, and I think I've been to another one because there were Ripley's Believe It or Not attractions, like museums, where you would go in there and you would check out all the artifacts and quirky stuff, and I remember them being pretty fun. This is from Michael Escobar. Well, happy belated birthday to you too. I'll check out the Northmen sometime. I don't think it's even playing in any of the theaters near me, so I can't see it in the theater. But I'll wait till it comes out on home video. So from Pred, do I see myself being a director or filmmaker in the future? No. I've done some directing for like film classes. I'm not that good, and it just doesn't really interest me. There are some film ideas I would love to write a script for, but that's a different thing. This is from Jedizilla, best Batman fight scenes. The warehouse fight in Batman versus Superman is definitely up there. The couple fights that are in the Batman, especially the one when he fights a bunch of guys in the club. The little bit of fisticuffs that Batman has in Batman Returns, where he fights those thugs on the street. There's also some bits in Batman Forever, which has some good acrobatics. Thoughts on Rain Man? It's all right. I don't love the film by any means. Michael Corleone or Tony Montana. Tony Montana. Thoughts on Tony Scott's The Fan? I like it. I like The Fan. It's got a good performance by Robert De Niro as a creepy stalker guy. You also have a good performance by Wesley Snipes. I don't like the fact that it doesn't really have a good Blu-ray. It just shares a disc with a contractor from Mill Creek. The transfer sucks. From Juno, what streaming platform do you have? Pretty much all of them, except for like Disney Plus and HBO Max. So I have Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Discovery Plus, and Paramount Plus. And speaking of Paramount Plus, I might as well share my thoughts on the Halo show, because I know some people asked me about that in the last stream that I did. I'm a big fan of Halo. I grew up playing Halo and Halo 2 and played multiplayer a lot. And I've always waited and wanted to see a Halo show or a Halo movie with a significant budget. And I haven't watched the Halo show yet, but from what I've read, from what I've heard, man, does it sound like a fucking train wreck. It sounds like a clusterfuck. It sounds like a disappointing hunk of absolute bullshit. I'm not looking forward to checking that out, to be honest. I think it's just gonna piss me off. This is from Cinema Fans. This is a review of the first season of Stranger Things. I thought about that actually, because I still haven't seen season 2 in full, and I haven't even seen season 3. Um, I don't know, maybe I'll watch them prior to season 4, but I don't know if I'll do reviews just yet. From Burning Exeter, what do I think of Shane Black? I think he's a pretty good writer. I mean, at least in his prime, like he wrote some absolute classics, The Lethal Weapon, um, Last Boy Scout, Long Kiss Goodnight, worked on the Monster Squad. But as of late, it seems like he lost his touch because he was the guy who did co-writing on The Predator, the film where this kid who's autistic has superpowers. He's a mutant. The Predator wants his autism. God, that film is fucking awful. Uh, Broomstick. Do I like Bordello of Blood? I didn't hate. See, I feel the same way that you do about Bordeaux of Blood. I don't hate the film, but I'm not as big of a fan of it as I was with Demon Knight. Um, Definitely don't like the ending. That's for sure. Na, 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 na. Ryan, what do I think of Ice Age? Not much. Wasn't really a big fan of that one. I don't know why there were like a billion Ice Age movies either. Thoughts on Home Alone 3 from Total Meltdown 2? I did not like it. I did not like that movie. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't really like a lot of the writing. John Hughes gets a lot of crap for stuff like Baby's Day Out, but that's a masterpiece compared to Home Alone 3, in my opinion. And I actually don't mind Baby's Day Out for what it is. Yeah, Juno, Deadly Friend. I like that film though, even though the ending sucks. And here's the reason for that: because I know why the ending is so bad. Because it's due to the producer fucking things up. Um, that's from Casey. Yeah, I've got some missing teeth. What happened to my old teeth? They got punched out by the asphalt when my face hit the asphalt face first when I got hit by a car. That's why I don't. That's why those teeth are missing. I got implants now. Um, some Monteval thoughts on the Shawshank Redemption. That's another one I really need to see. I've heard a lot of really good things about it, but I just haven't gotten around to checking it out yet. Would like to get the 4K sometime. Uh, from Ryan, Ghost in the Shell, the original versus the live action 2017 film. Now I might get absolutely creamed, flogged, and burned at the stake for this, but I prefer the 2017 film. I like it a lot more. It's not as pretentious. It's not as needlessly wordy. I think it's just as visually impressive, and I think the whitewashing controversy was nothing but bullshit. And I'm not going to go on that tangent because I'd be here forever. Um, from Pred, my favorite James Cameron movie. He's done a lot of really classic, great movies. I really like The Terminator. I enjoy Terminator 2. True Lies is a classic. I think I'm going to say The Abyss. A little bit of it is nostalgia, but at the same time, it's just such a great film. Great performances. Like the spectacle of it has never been equaled. Um, that's another one that is in dire need of a 4K. From Adam, what is my favorite Scorpions album song? That's tough because I like so many Scorpions albums and songs. I mean, Love at First Sting is a good one. Face to Heat is really underrated. Uh, Savage Amusement is there. I like the one where they have like the Philharmonic Orchestra. The orchestral remix of Rock You Like a Hurricane is sick. I would say One of my favorite songs is from Scorpions is definitely "Rock You Like a Hurricane." It's one of my favorite songs, period. But another one that I really, really like and I think is a really good jam is Alien Nation. Like, that is a really underrated, song by Scorpions. Thoughts on Dark Angel with Jessica Alba? I don't have much thoughts either because I haven't seen the series either. Um, it's from, Jedizilla, James Cameron or Joss Whedon. This is easy. James Cameron. Boomstick critique. Would I like to see Tales from the Crypt come back as a continuation of the old series? Yes. I have been talking about this for years. Like, yes, 100% yes. You can call it Terror from the Crypt. You can do a Vault of Horror thing, or you could just call it Tales from the Crypt again. Like, horror is huge right now, and specifically nostalgia. Like, nostalgic horror is like massively popular right now. I don't know why HBO is not even considering this. I know there's going to be M. Night Shyamalan TNT spinoff, but that was more of a ripoff of uh, American Horror Story from what I was reading than actually an anthology show. I know that they wouldn't have a lot of Tales from the Crypt comics to adapt, but that's why you just hire all these popular up and coming horror writers and have them write their own stories. Look what's going on with the Creepshow. I mean, I guarantee you'd get a lot of big stars who would want to do a Tales from the Crypt because they grew up watching the show. So it's huge missed opportunity by HBO, if you ask me. I don't know why they're not working on it. I don't know why they haven't put it on the fast track. I mean, the series still has a massive cult following, so it taps into that aspect where they're trying to get a show that already has a following and to get those people involved as well as getting new fans involved. I mean, I would get HBO Max if they announced new seasons of Tales from the Crypt with John Kassir voicing the Crypt Keeper. Like, I would buy a subscription if they did that. I'm probably not the only one. Uh do 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 do. Just trying to find some questions here. And by the way, I'll probably end this at like 2 hours because I think that's a good place to end the stream. It's from Juno. Which movie is better, Maniac the original or the remake? They're two different kind of things. I would say though the remake is better for me. Um, from Ryan, thoughts on Scarface? I haven't seen it in ages, but I do remember not minding it. As another one I would like to revisit along with Casino. From Christopher, thoughts on stuff like Halloween animatronics and life sizes. They're cool, not something that I would want in my room because I don't have the space. But I mean, if I had space, like I would be cool to have like an animatronic life size Jason or Freddy. That'd be cool to have it in a movie room. Thoughts on Glory? Great score. The film itself is there for me. Uh, Thoughts on Risky Business? I actually haven't seen Risky Business. I know of it. I know that Rebecca De Mornay's in it, I think, and that's the one where Tom Cruise dances in his underwear. But I actually haven't seen the film. Another one I haven't seen, Ryan the Graduate. Another one I've heard of but haven't seen. Uh, it's like speaking of Paramount Plus. Did I watch the original 4K? The 4K director's cut of Star Trek: The Motion Picture. No, I didn't because I'm waiting for it to come out in 4K, like on an actual disc. Uh, Thoughts on this from Greg? Thoughts on Al Pacino film Justice for All? It's classic. It's a really good film with a great performance from Al Pacino. Do I think this is from Max Payne fan? Do I think Crow City of Angels deserves a second chance by releasing the real version of the film? I'd be curious to see that version, but I don't think it really would have helped that much because what I've been reading about what he was intending to do, I don't think it really would have fixed a lot of the film's issues. Like, it's not going to make Vincent Perez a good actor. It's not going to make his performance better. It's not going to fix a lot of the film's serious flaws for me. This is for Total Meltdown. Master Chief is now Master Cheeks. I heard about that. Yeah, you get to see Master Chief's ass. Like, who was behind the Halo show? The people who did Color of Night? Thought everyone wanted to see Bruce Willis's ass. No, Ryan, I have not seen Sonic 2 yet, but I will. I will see Sonic 2. As well as the first Sonic, which I haven't seen yet either. And those reviews are actually going to be coming up within the next week or two. Swinchongo, what do I think is the most underappreciated Bruce Willis film? There's quite a few. One of them for me is definitely Last Man Standing or The Last Boy Scout. Another one is Bandits with Kate Blanchett and Billy Bob Thornton. That one definitely doesn't get talked about that much. Jedizilla, would you say Guyver 2 is the best fight scenes ever in the superhero genre? I don't know if it has the best fight scenes, but it definitely has some of the better fight scenes out there. Definitely. Great fight choreography, especially for a low budget and for what they had to work with. And for people in suits. It's just so impressive to see what they were able to do in these rubber suits and just do all these moves. It's just awesome. For Juno, thoughts on William Friedkin's Rampage, and do you think it should get a Blu-ray? It absolutely should get a Blu-ray. I like Rampage. I think it's actually underrated. Great performance of Michael Biehn as a lawyer. Alex McCarthy did a good job as a killer. Solid direction by William Friedkin. 100% deserves a Blu-ray. I don't know why it hasn't had one yet. This is from Juno again. Have I seen the Toby Hooper's Salem's Lot? Absolutely. And it is a classic. And I don't think the remake is going to come close to topping it. Some Will Ferrell. For some reason, I can't pronounce Will Ferrell's name. Will Ferrell, #1, Universal Monsters or Hammer Horror Monster. I've always been more of a Universal Monster guy, but there's some decent Hammer stuff. Yeah, Johnny, I really like Aliens. It's a great film, but I would give The Abyss a slight nod for me personally. Part of it is nostalgia, I have to admit, but Aliens is still a great movie. Maybe it could be like a tie, like 1A and 1B, but The Abyss is still one of my absolute favorites. Love that film. Used to watch it like all the time. These aren't really a remake. 1996 Broken Arrow is not really a remake of the 1950 film, Bobby, but I haven't seen the 1950 film, so I would definitely pick the 1996 movie. I said, God damn, what a rush. This is from Juno again. Have you seen Vinegar Syndrome? And have you seen that they've released a Death Wish 2 and Flesh Eater? Yeah, I've seen that. I'm just very on it. Don't really care about either title. I'm fine with Death Wish 2, the Blu-ray that I already have. Ryan, have I been to Disneyland? Yep. A couple times, as well as Universal Studios in Hollywood. I actually sang at Disneyland with my choir in high school. And I remember getting stuck on the Thunder Mountain ride, like right in like the peak of summer. So we're like right up top, like super high. And we were just getting baked. and that was not fun. But we got a free multi pass, so I was able to go on Space Mountain twice, so that kind of made it worth it. My favorite Michael Myers actor, really liked Dick Warlock. I think he did a great job in Halloween 2. I even have his autograph. Uh, Jedizilla, Colin Farrell, Danny DeVito. I'm gonna give it the slight edge to Danny DeVito. From DJ, have I seen Train Spotting? No, actually, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen it yet. Hey, Matt. Thank you. Thanks for dropping by. Um, thanks for the birthday wishes. Ryan, what are my thoughts on The Dark Knight? I don't think it's better than the superhero movies today, but I do like The Dark Knight. I don't love The Dark Knight, though. I think it's a little bit too long at times. I don't like Christian Bale's Batman voice. Sounds like a death metal singer. Uh, it's just not a fan of it. I'm the Dark Knight of Gotham City. Bah! But Heath Ledger is great. He really makes that film. Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez. I don't really like one over the other. Very, very mixed on both. But I guess I would say Tarantino. DJ, I don't know. I don't. Three Crazy Guys, for those of you who don't know, it's a group of three people, myself, Matt, and this other guy named Effrey. And we used to do these videos together. And we haven't had a reunion in a long time. I mean, Effrey's gone his separate ways. He's got, a lot of other stuff going on in his life. And it's one of those things where, if it happens, it happens. But I definitely wouldn't mark your calendar for it. I guess I'll answer this since Johnny asked this a second time. Thoughts on 16 Blocks? Haven't seen it yet. Haven't seen the film yet. Going to see it though. I did flip through it though, and I did not like Mos Def's voice that he was doing for his character. I don't know what the hell he was thinking there. Ryan, what's my favorite ride attraction in Disneyland? Space Mountain. Matt saw X, and yeah, it sucked. Definitely looking forward to that rant. This is from Juno. What are my thoughts on Virus? I wouldn't say it's the worst film that Jamie Lee Curtis has ever been in. It's a movie that's not that great, but I do like the practical effects. I do like the fact that it does have a significant budget behind it. I like the idea of the film, but it's just not executed that well. For instance, the film is based on a Dark Horse comic, and the Dark Horse comic is really good. So the film definitely pales in comparison to the comic. Jedizilla ranked Catwoman actresses. Number one for me is Michelle Pfeiffer, who's drop dead gorgeous in that film, but also badass and just mysterious. And I just love that performance. A lot of layers to it. Number two, I Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman in the Batman. Number three, I even like Julie Newmar and Eartha Kitt over Halle Berry, definitely, or even Anne Hathaway. I think Anne Hathaway and Halle Berry are very close in terms of awfulness on my scale. I want to mention Adrienne Barbeau though, who was the voice actress for Catwoman in the animated series, and she did a great job. Thoughts on Justin Lin exiting Fast and Furious 10? from what I've been hearing, it does not sound good. It sounds like a lot of issues with Vin Diesel being a jerk off, which is not good to hear, and that really sucks. I think the franchise is definitely going to suffer without him being a part of it. But at this point, I don't really care because Fast and the Furious to me, it stopped being a franchise that I had a lot of hope for or was really excited about once Paul Walker passed away. Even though I did enjoy some of the films after his passing, I just think at this point it's just ground itself into it's just grinding its gears. Um, it's running on a flat tire. Yeah, that's another good one. The Indiana Jones Adventure. Yeah, that was fun. Um, trying to think of what else to do here because I'm reaching the 2 hour mark. I think I'm gonna do a couple more and then I'm gonna call it a night. This is from movie, TV show, and video game fan. Have I seen Hannah? Actually, haven't seen it. I do have it on DVD though. I think there's a TV series. Predator. I'm gonna save that one for last because I definitely have some thoughts about it. Um, yeah, Star Tours. That's a fun ride as well. Worst zombie film I've ever seen. Um, I don't know. Worst zombie movie. Are they really zombie films? They're more like cannibal movies, like Cannibal Terror. That movie was terrible. Um, I don't remember liking Burial Ground that much. I guess like one of the like direct to video zombie movies, like Zombies with a Z. Um, favorite species of dinosaur. It's either the Velociraptor or the T Rex. Batman actors ranked. Michael Keaton, number one. Robert Pattinson, number two. Number three. Uh, Christian Bale, number four. Uh, Val Kilmer, number five. Adam West. Well, actually, no. Actually, I got it mixed up. Number one is Michael Keaton. Number two is Robert Pattinson. Number three is Ben Affleck. Number four is Christian Bale. Number five is Val Kilmer. Number six is Adam West. Um, number seven is George Clooney. And 1B is Kevin Conroy, the voice actor for the animated series. So, yeah, let's go with the last one that I was going to save for last with from Predator. Although before that, I will share some of my thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion. I know some of my friends aren't really that big on the trailer. I thought it looked exciting. I thought it looked epic. I thought it looked like fun. So I'm looking forward to checking the film out. I think it could be a fun creature feature. It also looks like a film that would actually treat these legacy characters the right way. But anyway, let's end the stream with one last question here from Pred. He says, RoboCop 3, what would you do to make it a great film? First and foremost, make it rated R. Second, get Peter Weller back. He was open to doing it, but only if Paul Verhoeven returned or if there were some other things that happened. But Orion was so desperate financially that they couldn't wait for him or wait for both. So I would have Peter Weller back. I'd have Paul Verhoeven back. It'd be hard R, and it would be based on the story that Frank Miller already had in mind for RoboCop 3, where it takes place multiple years in the future, and RoboCop is not necessarily obsolete, but he's definitely a more aging or ancient technology, and this is his last stand, and he's going up against the rehabs and OCP for one final time. That's how it would make it a great film. You would make it a movie that takes place in a different timeline. You wouldn't kill off Lewis, and instead you just have her be older. Um, and it would be just as hyper violent as the other two. You'd have the satirical elements and stuff. And yeah, that's what I would do to make RoboCop 3 great. Definitely stop the dumb shit like don't count on a chum and don't cast this guy who looks like evil Steve Martin to play the villain. So that's how I'd make it a great film. And anyway, folks, thank you for making this a great time. Had a lot of fun. I will definitely do this some other time. And for those of you who have tuned in, take care. Have a great night. And I will chat with you later. See ya.